When you win games and you do it together and you have fun out there, everything else, all the individual stuff you want, it comes with it.
The league is in wonderful hands when he's one of the stars leading the way.
You will get what you asked for.
All season long, got into a habit and focusing on the next game and worrying about what's in front of us.
Put a few hundred up, let him go, let him go. Hey now, say now. Hey now, say now.
Led by two of the brightest young stars in the game.
Most together team and the most mature team is a team that wins around this time. It's not about who get 30 points. It's about coming together as a team. One thing I never lack is confidence.
For the win, for the win. Hey now, say now.
And here we go again. The Oklahoma City Thunder, the Minnesota Timberwolves, as the Western Conference Finals is presented by AT&T. And a sold-out Target Center on a gorgeous day in Minneapolis. And they've waited for their team to come home. It's a veteran squad, but they've got a work cut out for them against SGA, who's mic'd up for us tonight.
Yo, what's up?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good to see you, buddy.
Appreciate it. How are you? Focus now. Don't let the limelight get to you.
No, don't let it.
You keep the main thing the main thing. Don't get too comfortable. Because they'll love you, and then they'll turn on you. Don't forget it.
Calm, cool, and collected as tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Popeyes. So OKC back on the road where they have excelled all season long. This great starting five and, of course, excellent depth for them as well. Meanwhile, as we mentioned, a veteran squad. They've had a lot of big playoff games over the past couple of years, and you expect a big-time response from this starting five. It's always so much fun to watch the response, especially when you change venues. Will OKC look to just step on the gas again? Will they let up a little bit? Will Minnesota come back with a fierce response? This is the fun part of the series, Richard.
This is the one Game 7 that's not a Game 7. Minnesota knows if they lose this game that no team comes back. Oklahoma City knows if they can go up 3-0, no team has ever come back. So both teams are literally playing for their lives in this game.
It's not a must-win. Only real must-win is when facing elimination, but it's pretty darn close. And Doris, this Minnesota team, we've seen them the last couple of years. There are some nights where you wonder how good they can be, and they usually bounce back in a big way.
They have been one of the most physically tough, excellent defensive teams that wear their opponents down. They are now aware that it's not a possibility in this series, that they've got to go round for round. So quarter by quarter, it would go a long way if they're up 10 to end the first.
Minnesota 4-1 in the playoffs. They score about 9 points per game more at home. Meanwhile, Oklahoma City averages 16 points per game less on the road in the playoffs. Obviously, a lot of circumstances. Meanwhile, they don't waste time getting on the board. The big men with a perfect connection. Holmgren to Hartenstein. Anthony Edwards misses his first three. Hartenstein saves it. OKC did lose 2 road games in the Denver series. They're 3-2 on the road. Hartenstein, that floater. And back-to-back buckets from the big men.
2 plays, 2 assists. You see Shea, you see the roll from the bigs. Minnesota's, they've got to pick up their intensity on their defense.
Mike Conley flips it inside. Gobert stripped by Holmgren. Turnovers is a story every time you watch OKC. Nice pass. Jalen Williams open 3. Can't get it. And Edwards the rebound. Edwards been one of the leading rebounders in the playoffs. Randall goes right at Jalen Williams. Well defended. A little bit of a bump, and Randall still knocks it down. That is a good sign for Minnesota.
He loves the spin move, particularly the closer he gets to the rim. He wants to get back to that strong left hand, but that spin is his move.
Good defense there from McDaniels. Jalen Williams looking. Keeps running, kicks it out in the corner. Lou Dort. Nope, stepped out of bounds.
So Julius Randle has had a number of different defenders come at him. Jalen Williams is one of the primary. And you can see on contact, Jalen Williams doesn't lose any ground or space. So it's the fadeaway that gets Julius the needed separation. And the thing is, if Julius can play both sides tonight, he can't get lost defensively. He's got to come with a great level of intensity.
Randall against Stewart down the other end. Backing in. Two strong Bulls right there. Randall hits another. Now, he has been not good, but sensational in these playoffs prior to that struggle in game 2. Gilgeous-Alexander to Dort. Dort fires away. That three-pointer in and out. Randall the rebound. Again, did not play at all in the fourth quarter. He wasn't happy about it. Talked with Chris Finch. And is clearly ready to go. Falling away, tries another. This one well short. And well defended by Williams.
He had an outstanding game 1 first quarter. I like this versus the small, the post up, but this is also fool's gold. You don't want to start playing one-on-one basketball too early against this OKC defense.
Gobert with a steal. Edwards goes trying to draw some contact, banks at home. He thought there was a foul as well. And the T-Wolves have their first lead. Williams, Gilgeous-Alexander. McDaniels has tried his best to slow him down. An elite defender. What a difficult task it's been. Jalen Williams off the bounce. Well defended by Edwards. Shot clock at 3. Holmgren a three-pointer. That won't go. McDaniels hesitates, now pulls up and knocks it down. He loves the mid-range. Says he's going to steal some move after guarding SGA this closely. Holmgren left wide open and connects on a 3. So good shooting from both teams as we start off. 3.5 gone by. Minnesota by 1. Conley left open. Jalen Williams. Conley pursuing the rebound. The 37-year-old brings it up the floor. Edwards back to Conley. Little fake. Randall, corner 3 deep. Can't get it to fall. For both teams, the three-point shooting has been erratic so far in the series. Stein.
Just picking up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is lower. Shai is only sprinkling in the 3. Let him come to you and try to take away that driving angle, stay down and disciplined.
Edwards nails a 3. Hartenstein, that's a deep floater. That won't go. Gilgeous-Alexander tips it, race for the ball, still alive. Edwards comes up with it. Wide open for the slam. The nuclear athleticism of Anthony Edwards on display. SGA, nice move, and the finish.
Boy, Rudy has not been able to handle Shai once he's that lone man trying to contend with him.
Oh, but the intensity from Minnesota is so different already.
Gobert couldn't get it. Good concessioning of the shot from Chet Holmgren. What a pace here to start game 3. Holmgren wants the ball. Conley's guarding him. Holmgren, Hartenstein. Gilgeous-Alexander on the drive, goes right at Randall. Minnesota so far has not turned the ball over. Almost on cue there, but Randall somehow held it. Mike Conley can't get it. And a whistle and a foul. They'll stay here.
When we talk about the intensity that you need, watch him track it down once, track it down again, and you are rewarded on the offensive end. That is multiple efforts for your leader, Anthony Edwards, helping his Minnesota Timberwolves take a 4-point lead early.
Impressive start for Minnesota, up by 4 midway through the first. Now it's time to take a look at what fans are searching for, presented to you by Google. Anthony Edwards versus OKC, spiking 370% in the United States since the start of this series. They'll need a huge game from him here tonight. Meanwhile, Mark Daigneault, the head coach of OKC, said playoff success, part of it is understanding what the home crowd will do for the opponent when you're on the road, as Edwards knocks down another three. And you can see exactly home crowd, they're playing more physical, they're playing faster.
That's a massive shine for Anthony Edwards.
Edwards knocks it away from Dort. And this time just gently throws it down.
That's 4 turnovers, 9 points off. First time in the series Minnesota's had that lead. But Anthony making threes is a big deal. It's been a struggle in this series, just 24% coming in.
And he's got 12 of their 18 points. Gilgeous-Alexander lines that one up, shot well off. DiVincenzo just checked in, gets the rebound.
But it looks like Minnesota's pickup point is up higher on everybody but SGA.
And a whistle and a foul. Lou Dort called for his first. Cason Wallace is on for OKC.
He led the league in three-point makes. He's always looking for that angle, has the elevation, knock it down. And when we talk about the pickup points, look at the aggressiveness. Look at how intense they are. Look, he gave us a little something on the first one, second one. Just put it in and get back on defense. Conserve that energy.
The three-point shooting, 1 for 9 in game 2, 4 for 17 in the series, but he's knocked down a couple already. Alex Caruso with his first minutes. Naz Reid as well for Minnesota. Both these teams have relied on their bench. The Thunder very deep on the bench. Good defense there from Wallace. Randall goes again. Kicks it out in the corner. DiVincenzo checks the seams and hits the three. And for Minnesota, it's their largest lead of the series. Timeout OKC.
Oh, the three-point shot. In the series for almost the entire minute. They've conceded the corner three. They've had open shots. Dante, give him a little dap because he made one.
Tomorrow morning, the most famous race on the F1 circuit, all the glitz and glam of the Monaco Grand Prix on ABC once again. Pre-race coverage again 7:30 a.m. Eastern with Grand Prix Sunday, and the race starts at 9 Eastern on 6 Pacific. You see the turnovers for the Thunder. So far in the playoffs, they have 91 less turnovers than their opponents. That's a lot of extra possessions. Not the case in the first 7 minutes here in game 3. Cason Wallace fakes, drives, throws it up. Hartenstein couldn't get it to fall. And Edwards looks to push. Minnesota would like a quicker pace. Caruso trying to swipe it out of his hands. Naz Reid looking to get untracked. Caruso all over him and reaching in. And picks up his first.
One, I'm not sure if that was a foul on Alex Caruso, but Wallace with the dime and just not able to finish that. And these are just the plays right here that if you're Minnesota, I don't know if his hand got it, but if you're Minnesota, you got to build off this. OKC does not make a lot of mistakes, but when they do, you have to make them pay.
DiVincenzo to Edwards. Randall left open. Hartenstein falls down, but Randall can't make him pay. And Gilgeous-Alexander the rebound. He's become the villain for tonight. Misses that jumper. Crowd delights. Edwards with yet another rebound. He's got already 4 of those to go with the 12 points. Cason Wallace trying to defend Randall in the post, who wants the ball. Little zone defense from OKC. Naz Reid tries a three. That's good. Naz Reid finally gets one to go. He's been struggling mightily. Had missed his last 16 three-pointers in the playoffs. Jalen Williams. Caruso has some space. Can't get it to fall. Rebound deflected. And a loose ball foul against Minnesota.
So Anthony Edwards took a lot of this possession with his dribbling, but again, you were seeing the zone defense. Eventually, this is going to get to Naz. Mike, you mentioned it. It had been abysmal over the last several games for Naz. The 2 prior series, he was near 49% from 3. That is the variance of three-point shooting.
And he's an excellent three-point shooter. Just bad timing to go cold like that. Caruso drives, can't finish. Gobert the rebound. Minnesota's defense much more aggressive here to start in the first quarter of game 3. And they've been a good defensive team all season. Pass deflected and goes out of bounds. Minnesota inbound 13 on the shot clock.
But it's not about how you come out, is you have to sustain this intensity for 48 minutes. Both games that got away from them, it got away from them in the third quarter.
Isaiah Joe now in. Edwards at three-pointer misses. Holmgren grabs it. Gilgeous-Alexander going against his cousin, Alexander Walker. Caruso stolen by Alexander Walker, deflected out of bounds, but last touch by the T-Wolves. He had an excellent finish, Alexander Walker did, in game 2. But Minnesota cut a 22-point fourth quarter lead to 10. Gobert helping out defensively, knocks it loose. Another steal for Gobert, driving down the lane, and he's fouled. Watching Rudy Gobert the open floor with the handle, and he'll shoot 2 free throws.
We talked about the intensity. We're going to keep repeating ourselves, but you have not seen this intensity. To a man, everybody is. Get him a little bit of a favor there, fouling him.
So first free throws of the game with 2:41 left here in this opening period. That was the first foul on Gilgeous-Alexander. Tonight's playoff schedule brought to you by Progressive. TNT tomorrow night. Knicks and Pacers now in Indianapolis. Pacers 2 road wins, 8 p.m. Eastern time start, and then ESPN Monday will be back here in Minneapolis for game 4, and the start time shortly after 8:30 Eastern. Edwards the rebound off the free throw miss. Edwards crossover, gets inside, thought he was fouled. Isaiah Joe brings it into the front court. Finds Caruso, who finds Wallace. Wallace off the bounce. Up top, Caruso open for 3. That's good. And a quick timeout call by Chris Finch. That's their first points in almost 5 minutes. Tonight's Power Forward brought to you by Nissan. Richard.
It's the intensity from this Minnesota defense. You got the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year getting up in the passing lanes, helping to lead to transition opportunities. You see them just out in space. Look at the extra effort 2 times for Anthony Edwards, and he gets rewarded. They have forced 5 turnovers already here in this first quarter by OKC. That's the way Minnesota has to play and has to continue that intensity.
Again, OKC, not only do they force the most turnovers, but they turn it over the fewest. Not the case here to start because of this aggressive defense from the T-Wolves. Naz Reid kicks it in the corner. Alexander Walker in and out. Gobert able to hold on and finish.
Wow. Rudy Gobert, what a difference. He has been in fourth quarters twice, not on the floor. And tonight, a much bigger factor.
Caruso gets another clean look. That can't go. Holmgren goes high for the rebound, knocked out of his hands, and a foul called. It's DiVincenzo.
Rudy on the offensive end, this is how he's going to score. He's not going to be a low post. We're going to feature him down there, but offensive rebounding, putbacks against smaller guys. He's got to contend with just Alex Caruso. He does not have great hands, but that is one heck of a rebound in a tough situation.
It's been hard for him to have an impact so far in this series, but everybody with Minnesota's had an impact here in the first quarter. Holmgren too strong. Naz Reid the rebound. Minnesota already +5 on the boards. Under a minute and a half remaining in what has been just a sensational start for the home team. Alexander Walker knocks down the 5th three-pointer of the opening period. Holmgren goes past Gobert on the flush. Beautiful move from Chet Holmgren.
Richard, that's your 7-footer.
Yeah, I don't know if Rudy wants that pickup point to be that high on Chet.
And a turnover that time. Only the 2nd so far from Minnesota. Alexander Walker thought there should have been a foul call.
Yeah, we talked about the pickup point. Now for Rudy, he can move his puppies, but I don't think he wants to be out there going left and right there with Chet Holmgren.
SGA just 2 points, 2 assists here in the first. I've seen a lot of games trying to get his team involved early. Isaiah Joe posted up. And Naz Reid with a rebound. Edwards gets it back, finds some space, nails another. It's an Edwards eruption here in the first as DiVincenzo knocks.
Only Steph and Clay have had that kind of year. It's abandoned him in the series. It is back tonight, and that's trouble if you're OKC.
Shot clock turned off, no fouls to give. Now, was that an 8-second violation? So it's going to be Minnesota ball now with 11.1 seconds remaining. Kind of just lackadaisical bringing the ball up the floor.
It's the try and stay calm, try and stay relaxed, try and slow yourself, but don't go too slow. Don't start to lose that focus of trying to take those deep breaths. Let me slow down. You still have to keep that intensity.
Edwards has it. Again, no fouls to give for OKC. Edwards a crossover. Splits the defense, falls down, whistle and a foul, and he'll shoot free throws. This is what you wanted from your star player out of the gate when you're down 0-2.
Well, it's just, you look at this, we all knew this first quarter was going to be big. And these are the fouls that Anthony Edwards, when look, he had a prolific three-point shooting, yes. But sometimes in this postseason, when the three-point shot doesn't go, you got to get downhill.
McDaniels will come in for the final defensive play. Naz Reid will sit. Jalen Williams reports back in for OKC. And we can talk about the terrific offense. 56% from the field. They've hit 6 threes. He's got 15 points. But it's their defense that has been the catalyst for us.
You know, they called the other team handsy. Tonight, they're the handsy team.
Final seconds, first quarter. Williams coast to coast, misses the layup. And that ends the first. It's the fewest points in a quarter this entire playoff stretch for OKC. And they're down by 20. Anthony Edwards explodes out of the gate. Minnesota up big. Welcome back to the Western Conference Finals, presented by AT&T. First quarter, Anthony Edwards all by himself outscores OKC.
No, it has been impressive to watch him answer the call. That was the thing in game 1 and 2. The numbers were kind of there, but the intensity was lacking.
Reed, Terrence Shannon Jr. goes in. Shannon throws it up, shot. Counted and a foul. A little surprise start here to begin the second quarter. He's only played 20 total minutes in the playoffs, the rookie out of Illinois.
They always say role players, young players play better at home. So to see a young guy like Shannon Jr. come out here, get an and one, the crowd feeds off of it. This is what OKC knew was coming, but I don't think they knew it was coming like this from Minnesota.
Well, Terrence Shannon Jr., only his 7th appearance of these playoffs. They call him a wrecking ball. And you look at the size of him, and he plays with such force. Aaron Wiggins has come on. Williams, three-pointer misses, read the rebound. They're 2 for 12 from three-point range. And certainly not surprising Minnesota would come out with a force, but a 23-point lead. Shannon jumper, got it! How about this off the bench? A 25-point lead, 13 minutes in, as Jalen Williams is fouled.
And this is remarkable, and these young men cannot be a part of a series, get very little time, and in a big spot, a must-win. Mr. Shannon says, you know what, I got plenty of offensive game, and I am an aggressive, assertive scorer. I don't care how little I've played, and that's been consistent for the young man.
Well, he started his college career at Texas Tech, then finished at Illinois. During the regular season, he played 32 games. He had one start. In his one start, he scored 17 points. He actually had 3 straight games with 15 or more. He plays so hard. He's physically ready. 5 years of college basketball, and just plays with a force. And free throws good. Alexander Walker, Randall, Shannon, Reed, and Conley. Randall the spin, kicks it out. Another attempt, shot short. Boy, if Shannon hit that, this place would go crazy. Williams, the crossover goes right at Shannon. Shot won't go, but a foul. And the rookie picks up his first. More free throws for Jalen Williams.
You know, we know Jalen Williams wants to be a downhill driver. He can pull up from the mid-range, but he didn't think that defender was in any kind of defense.
And Edwards is also going to shoot 15 free. Has been consistently called throughout this series.
If it's consistently called, this game will take 5.5 hours. Williams, sensational game 2 after a terrific game 1. Richard, you talked about it at the top. The last 3 games, the 3 biggest games of his career, he has been just sensational.
I'm glad you heard that at the top.
Backcourt violation, as Randall had not established front court position. And that's the 3rd turnover for Minnesota.
Well, again, we see this backcourt, and this is what you get. You get these little mistakes. When you have constant pressure and you're dealing with stuff that you don't normally do, those are the mistakes that happen.
Alexander Walker sits. DiVincenzo back in. OKC is shooting just 27% from the field with 6 turnovers. Jalen Williams and a moving screen. Well, they turn it right back over. Mike Conley a little shaken up, try to fight over the screen.
It's just
Comes up hobbling a bit.
Sorry, Mike. This is their 7th turnover. See, his legs are wide and he's leaning with that left knee and left hip. It's an easy call. So can they continue to build on these points off turnovers? They've got 11 thus far, Minnesota.
Conley, in the minutes he's been on the floor, the T-Wolves have played well. Wallace gets right up into the grill of Randall. Kicks it out. Conley, 7 on the shot clock. Makes his drive, uses his offhand, can't get to the fall. And the 2 Jalen Williams out there connect. Shannon trying to guard Jalen Williams. Now Randall picks him up, kicks it back out. Wiggins with 8 to shoot. Caruso on the drive. Boy, Shannon is just, he's maniacal out there. Shot won't go, second shot a foul. As Jalen Williams, J-Will as they call him, will shoot free throws.
It's the intensity, the pickup points. The communication is different for Minnesota. We can talk about the offense all day, but look at this scramble. There's nowhere to go for OKC.
Look at all those choppy step closeout, multiple efforts. It's almost as if Minnesota remembers they were the 6th best defensive team, and they can do some things on that end of the floor.
This Jalen Williams did not play in games 1 and 2 of this conference final. Did play in the previous 11 games. Had a big role in the Denver series. Part of that defending Nikola Jokic. He did a really solid job against Jokic. Reed coming up to set the screen. Wallace fights over it, and Caruso greets him. And then a reach-in call on Caruso. He does not like the call. That's his second.
He doesn't like the call, Mike, but you know this. He is not asking for a challenge. He is not asking for a review.
What'd you say before, Doris, that Minnesota's talking about they're handsy? That's your prime example of being handsy. Conley knocks down the three. They're 7 of 15 from three-point range. They came in to the conference final 29% from three in the first 2 games. Wallace nearly stolen by DiVincenzo. Jalen Williams, Shannon the foul. Boy, he makes his presence felt, doesn't he?
So Mike Conley, over the course of his career, has been an outstanding three-point shooter, particularly if given time. He was telling us earlier in the series, their closeouts feel fast and it can speed you up. That time, boy, just shot ready, nice and comfortable.
39% for his career. Now in his 18th year, Williams steps back. That shot won't go. DiVincenzo trying to run after it, but can't save it. Mark Daigneault saves him, and it's going to be OKC ball. Boy, this crowd, I think they're taking a little breather. They were screaming so much in that first quarter. Their team up by 22 after getting dominated in the first couple of games. Shannon getting extended minutes here. Williams had it knocked away. Another turnover. Here's Shannon. Goes, and Caruso lays it up and in. Shannon off the bench with 7 points in 3 minutes. Timeout again, OKC.
Let's take a look at tonight's Star Watch, brought to you by Shopify. He's known as the Ant-Man, the next face of the league, maybe. In addition to his game, it's his outgoing personality that has led to his exploding stardom. He was the #1 prospect out of high school in Georgia, went on to be the #1 pick in the 2020 draft. Since then, he starred in the Netflix reality show Starting Five and the movie Hustle, produced by Adam Sandler. Last summer in Paris, Ant was a key member of Team USA that won gold, and now at age 23, he's playing in his second consecutive West.
Sandler's movie about an international scout. That shot missed. Edwards was really believable. He was really good. Shannon drives and draws the foul. Boy, this crowd loving every bit of it. He didn't seem all that tight before the game. He never does. Playing loose and playing great here in game 3. Shannon will go. As Lisa said, he's from Atlanta. He had a meeting with Walt Clyde Frazier, the Knicks Hall of Famer, during the course of the regular season. Clyde's also from Atlanta. And Clyde went up to him and said, how's it feel to be the second greatest player to ever come out of Atlanta? Edwards thought that was so funny and so cool. Perhaps someday we'll join him in the Hall of Fame. A 25-point lead. Meanwhile, this kid Shannon has been terrific. A 24-year-old off the bench, 9 points in 3 minutes.
Mike,
just over 3.
Excuse me, Mike, I always tell young players 5 minutes can turn into 0 in DMPs, but 5 minutes can also turn into 10 minutes, can also turn into 15 minutes, and that's what Shannon Jr. is doing right now.
Reed snatches that rebound. Inside won't go. Ball knocked loose. Williams lets it go out of bounds. By the way, Shannon in the entire playoffs had 6 points. And here in game 3 of the conference finals has 9 already. A 26-point lead.
Their defense tonight has felt as consistent with their ball pressure, rotation, communication as OKC did to them in the first 2 games.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander pulls up, jump shot short. Hartenstein deflects it out of bounds. SGA in 12 minutes, 2 points on 1 of 5 shooting. McDaniels comes in, and how about this ovation from Shannon? Terrence Shannon Jr. with the best minutes of his young NBA career. I can't even imagine the adrenaline flowing through his body right now. Naz Reid, left-handed. Oh, sweet hook shot with the offhand from Naz Reid.
There's Big Jelly. They call him that for a reason. He's so dynamic and skilled, giving you a little glimpse of it.
Wiggins, open three, rattles that one in. McDaniels quickly down the other end. Good transition defense from OKC, but Conley winds up. He knocks down a three. It's a tidal wave here in Minnesota. A 28-point lead for the Timberwolves. Tonight's Driven Performance brought to you by Duncan. Richard.
Let me introduce you to Terrence Shannon Jr., the young player from Minnesota. We talk about it. 5 minutes can turn into 10 minutes, 15 minutes, playing within himself, understanding his role, playing defense. That's how you get on the court as a young player. You want to know the impact he's having? OKC starters have 15 points. Terrence Shannon Jr. has 9 points off the bench alone.
And the ovation when he came off the floor after his 4 exceptional minutes. Certainly rousing. Now, college basketball fans know him. Last year at Illinois, they went to the Elite Eight and made the regional team at 23. Regular season.
I did not have Terrence Shannon on my bingo card.
Naz Reid with a block from behind on Hartenstein. I think there are millions that will join you with that, Doris. So free throws. And you see that late in the first round, the draft pick, his dad was a player. Dad, Terrence Sr., played overseas for 20 years. And one of his idols growing up, and he was born in Chicago, went to high school in Chicago and Florida. He loved Russell Westbrook. He's got a little Russell Westbrook in his game.
He had a pretty awesome jersey retirement, too, in Illinois.
Conley to Reid. Now Randall. Randall goes inside, kicks it out. McDaniels with 5 to shoot. Tough fall-away shot. Great defense there from Holmgren. Gilgeous-Alexander tries a three-pointer. He's now 1 for 6 from the field. Mike Conley, Reid, and Edwards. Edwards had that big first quarter. His teammates doing a lot here in the second. Randall, triple team, gets the shot off, but can't get it. McDaniels the rebound. Back up top, Reid. Reid to the rim. Bank shot's good. Holmgren slightly limping as he comes up the floor. That ball was kicked. Relacing the sneaker.
Well, Naz Reid can put you in his back pocket. We'll take a look at the landing to see if he turns that ankle. In fact, he does.
Yep,
lands on that left.
So Reid 7.6 rebounds. A rough couple of games. One of many Timberwolves that have turned it around here in game 3. Gilgeous-Alexander came down in a travel. 9 turnovers. And Doris, you noticed this before. They have more turnovers than field goals made.
Rudy is up a little bit higher, right? Too many times he would allow Shea to operate in space. You heard Michael Malone talking about this in the pregame. You got to step up. That's his sweet spot. Use that length to deter him.
Just past the midway point here in the second. Dort foul, his second. That's the 14th foul.
Richard, you've always talked about how much difference maybe 6 to 12 inches of space is for a player. The fact that Rudy's that much higher on the floor changes Shea's thinking.
Well, and it's just everything about OKC seems unsure right now. The way they're moving the ball, that's his bread and butter. He led the league in scoring, won an MVP, and he's raising up and then getting a travel because he's trying to pass the ball.
Conley finds some room. Can't hit the three. Holmgren tracks down the rebound. OKC just trying right now with his 28-point deficit to cut into it before halftime. SGA steps back and knocks down the three, just his second field goal.
They've been in this environment before. In their Memphis series, they got absolutely hammered. And then it was a big-time comeback.
That was game 3. They were down by 29 late in the second. Obviously, a different quality of team, but it was also on the road. Naz Reid, three-pointer, puts it in. Reid is 4 for 4 from the field. He's hit both his threes. He's in double figures. SGA gets inside and draws a foul.
We've talked about last year he won 6th Man of the Year. Yes, his struggles were noticeable because he's so important to what Minnesota does. But that is a big shot. Then here on the other end, you see the swing, pump fake, one extra step, knocks it down with confidence.
He was 4 for 19 in the first 2 games. He's 4 for 4 in game 3, but he just picked up his 3rd foul. Don't miss the playoff moment with the NBA app. Download the app today for the latest scores, highlights, and behind-the-scenes access to all the drama. Boy, such drama here in game 3. Minnesota desperate to come in. This is the ultimate example of a team playing with desperation.
To your point, Mike, Oklahoma City is a team that forces you to meet that because they never stop coming at you.
A.J. Mitchell getting some interesting early minutes. Mitchell's another impressive rookie who was starting to get some playing time, but then got hurt and was out for a long stretch. Randall finds some room. McDaniels along the baseline. Gobert kicks it back out. The bench with 27 points. Gilgeous-Alexander comes right back. He's starting to get a little bit of a rhythm after a very slow start. He's actually their leading scorer. They have 32 points with 4:20 to play in the half. Hartenstein helping out defensively. Edwards pulls up from the elbow. Shot no good. Jalen Williams the rebound. Hartenstein. Mitchell, corner 3. That won't go. Edwards had all 16 of his points in that first quarter. Alexander Walker the drive. Counted at 1. Building off his game 2 finish off the bench. He's got 7 more points.
Mike, what a different story for the bench. We talked about they would be playing in friendlier confines, looking more comfortable, making the plays and the shots they've made all season. Alexander Walker, Dante DiVincenzo's 1 for 1, Naz Reid 4 for 4. They are shooting the lights out off the bench.
Doris, you said at the top of the telecast, this had to be a team effort to play against this great OKC team. That is what it has been here in the first 2 quarters. Mitchell tries from the other side, can't get that to fall. Edwards nearly threw it away, but Randall right there to help. Randall kicks it back out. McDaniels tries a 3. Gobert trying to hold on. It's going to go the other way. Gobert wants a challenge.
I think the referees are reviewing it right now. Yeah, they're switching that up. No, they're switching that up. Right, and the referees are trying to tell the Minnesota bench, do not challenge it, because the referees were conversing to get the call right.
That's the right thing to do.
And that is the right thing to do.
But the officials to give them a chance. No, we're gonna change the call.
He was also trying to get a sub in the game to use the extra time.
That score right now is absolutely stunning. 60-32. Gobert spins, layup, flips it up, won't go. Nearly tipped in. McDaniels and drew the foul.
Again, Rudy Gobert, they're just ball watching OKC. They are reacting. They're being reactive and not proactive. Right now, Minnesota's winning on the glass 24-15. That is big.
3rd foul on Dort. And Daniels knocks that in. Key at halftime. As Anthony Edwards, not just Edwards, Julius Randle set a tone early, scored the first couple of buckets. The bench sensational. Malika, Stephen A., Bob and Perk. The key at halftime coming up, all here in the building. Chet Holmgren walks into a three-pointer. Edwards grabs another rebound. He's got 8 of those. A 30-point lead. Edwards on the drive. Wallace right with him. Pulls up. Baseline. It's good. His first bucket since the first quarter, but he hasn't needed to score. OKC is down by 32 points. Gilgeous-Alexander can't get it to fall. Fight for the rebound. Gobert. Minnesota shooting 54% from the field. Only 3 turnovers. Randle the spin. Randle the finish. Another timeout. The Target Center is alive.
Boy, it is coming from absolutely every direction right now. Minnesota came out aggressive, they are putting it to an historically great defense. I don't want to hear it, says Anthony Edwards. This is me tonight.
Welcome back. NBA playoff presented by Google. And you never know what these playoffs are going to show you from night to night. OKC, 2 dominant wins in the first 2 games. And then here, right now, they're facing their largest deficit of the entire season. Regular season and playoff. Jalen Williams. Isaiah Joe looking back. And Minnesota defense just sensational. Isaiah Joe, long three-pointer. Rebound, Cason Wallace. Williams fakes, Williams drives. Shot no good, but a foul. He's going to head back to the free throw line. When you go back and look at the history of playoffs, there's often NBA champions who during the course of their playoff run, the year they win the title, lose by an incredible amount. It happens almost every year. But when you see it, when you see a team like OKC and the way they played, to be manhandled like this, it really is shocking.
No, it is. In 2016, when we were fortunate enough to win in Cleveland, the first 2 games, we lost by a combined 40 points. We were down 0-2 in the series. We had to scrap our entire defense and restart that process going back home.
Under 2 to play. Did
they start by taking you off the floor defensively?
No, I started game 3 and game 4. That was the big adjustment.
Randle goes at Isaiah Joe, leans in, just overpowers and scores. A 35-point lead. Jalen Williams, 1.5 minutes to go here in the second. Williams lines up his three-pointer, gets that to go. 8 points for Jalen Williams. That's his first field goal, and most of his points obviously from the free throw line. Edwards gets into the paint, pulls back, and jumper's good. 21st half points for Anthony Edwards. 8 of 11 from the field. Gilgeous-Alexander got untracked a little bit here in the second, nearly threw it away. Good catch from Isaiah Joe. Finds Holmgren, and Holmgren blocked but foul. Rudy Gobert, his second. Chet Holmgren to the line. Holmgren 5 points. You see there 4 rebounds coming off a strong game in game 2. at 22 points. OKC now has 10 made free throws, 11 made field goals. Hey, Monday night on ESPN, it will be game 4 of this series. Coverage gets underway, NBA countdown, 7:30 Eastern. Tip-off shortly after 8:30. Will it be 2-1? Or will Oklahoma City have one of the greatest comebacks in the history of the NBA playoffs? Long way to go, but man, Minnesota just a total domination here in the first 2 quarters. And the foul's going to be on Jalen Williams. Or do they? Might have called on Caruso. Nope, it is on Williams. His first personal. Well, he's had a string of 5 straight 30 points plus. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's got a ways to go for that.
I love the defense on him, though, Mike. When Jaden was guarding him one-on-one, the pickup point was a little lower. There were times they opportunistically doubled him. 3 early ones, as I remember. And so they're just changing the look on him.
Is that the only difference you saw in how they're playing him?
They are. Well, I would say at the 3-point line, the pickup point is different. But once he starts to get into 3-point line, because he has that pull-up, they start to close it. We saw it with Rudy. He got in the paint. Rudy starts to close that gap instead of continuing to retreat, forced him into a turnover.
And even that last play, he was so successful in the screen and roll, snaking his way through against that second defender. They're handling that more successfully.
Ball deflected out. Nope. Jalen Williams said I never touched it. Curtis Blair disagrees. Turnover number 10 for OKC. This is the most points in a playoff game in a half Minnesota has ever scored, as Edwards gives it right back. It's only their 4th turnover. About a 5.5-second difference. Shot clock and game clock. Jalen Williams connects on a 3. Shot clock turned off, so Minnesota will hold it for the final shot. No fouls to give here. Randall lods it. Almost lost. Alexander Walker now drives, gets into the lane. Running shot is no good. The Minnesota Timberwolves, the first half bludgeoning here in game 3, led by as many as 35. And he got it going. 16 of his 20 points in that explosive first quarter. Minnesota playing with desperation. Huge lead here, halftime of game 3.
The NBA Western Conference Finals, presented by AT&T, are brought to you by Google, proud sponsor of the NBA. And Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four: First Steps, only in theaters July 25th. And don't miss Game 4 to see an exclusive look at the film.
Welcome back. Western Conference Finals presented by AT&T. Yes, that score is correct. Halftime game 3. 31-point lead for Minnesota. As we take a look at the first half stats brought to you by ServiceNow.
When you watch Rudy Gobert, when you watch this Minnesota defense, look at their pickup points. This is causing some attention. Even Conley getting in there, causing some confusion, some deflection. You see they're coming over. They're being more aggressive on SGA. But even there, you want to back up a little bit when he's at the 3-point line. Maybe force him into a jumper. Allow him these more difficult shots. You can see that SGA is not as comfortable as he's been in the first 2 games.
Here's his shot chart, Richard, but think about this. First 2 games, when they double-team Shea, OKC was 14 for 18 off of. Mike, that's a different story tonight.
Just an incredible performance, Doris. I'm going to ask you a question that might be very difficult to answer. Which were you more impressed with, Minnesota's offense or defense?
It's a great question. You know what I was mostly impressed with? Their toughness. Their ability to be the people getting the opponent on their heels and sustaining it. You said it. It's not about the first 24 minutes, Richard. It's got to be sustained now.
All right, Richard, for OKC, what's first and foremost that has to be done to start this third quarter?
Well, you have to start out with intensity. Their coach said it. You got to be more forceful. You got to be the first one. When you come out of these situations, if you're OKC, make Minnesota call the first time out. That's how you can start building some momentum for the rest of the game.
Just some crazy numbers, as you just saw there here. By the way, the largest comeback in an NBA playoff game ever is 31. Not that long ago, 2019, Clippers were down 31 against the Warriors, came back and won. There's Gobert. There's Randall. Spins, falls away, shot, banker won't go. Rebound, Isaiah Joe with a nice save. And then ball knocked out of bounds, last touch by Gobert, as we check in with Lisa.
Hey, Mike, I asked Mark Daigneault just how do you start to get back in this? He said 1 possession at a time. He said we've got to get back to doing the things that we had success doing earlier in this series. He said we knew that they were going to come out with this kind of intensity and physicality. I just wish that we could have met it with more resistance. I asked him, how long do you give it before you wave the white flag, maybe move on to game 4? And he said, as long as it's winnable, because this is a playoff game, so you got to hang in longer than you would a regular season game. He said, but we'll see. Mike?
Coaches don't want to hear the phrase waving the white flag at halftime, but the way Minnesota dominated as McDaniels gets the rebound. But Julius Randle, 10 points, but he really set the tone. He hit his first couple of shots and did it with force. As Gilgeous-Alexander steps back, high arcing 3, and got it to go.
And in this series, the third quarters have been unkind to Minnesota. They've been outscored by 28.
Yeah, game 1 by 14, game 2 by 14. Edwards kicks it out. Conley swings it. McDaniels gets a clean look. That won't go. Lou Dort the rebound.
But even some of that swing, if you're Minnesota, you got to clean.
And you like a couple of minutes of the third quarter that could give the team that's way behind a little bit of like, you know what, maybe we can do this. So Isaiah Joe starting in place of Hartenstein, so a change as Randall goes to the rim and banks it home. Holmgren and a foul. Any thoughts on Isaiah Joe starting in the second half?
Mike, I'm way ahead of you. I was just about to say, for the people at home, the reason why you have that lineup is because you need more shooting. You're down 30 points. You need more three-point shots. You need a faster pace. It's not just about building your defense. Your defense has been an issue, but you have not put up enough points to try and get into this game.
Of course, he's way ahead of me. Ball knocked out of bounds. They say the same way. They call it OKC ball. Now Josh Timmons going to check with his fellow official. I don't think they're going to change this one. The T-Wolves wanted to challenge. And no go, says Chris Finch. Looked like McDaniels touched it. Gilgeous-Alexander finds Holmgren. Holmgren fouled. Shot's good. And one. Chance for a three-point play. Nice find from Gilgeous-Alexander. He's got 5 assists. Randall his second foul.
This young man has got so much skill. A little pick and roll. He releases off that screen real quick. And the low man is Julius. And Julius has guarded well tonight. But that's a situation where he's reactive, not proactive.
They've hit 11 of 13 from the free throw line. And Holmgren now in double figures. The lead at one point was 35. Now it's 25. Randall one-on-one with Williams. Double team. McDaniels against SGA. Turnaround baseline. Shot won't go. Rebound Williams. Gobert fell down, 5-on-4 right now. Dort tries high arcing three. That's good. Lou Dort knocks it down, and Chris Finch wants a timeout. So exactly what Oklahoma City wanted. Cut into that lead in the first couple of minutes.
This is what we talked about. You asked, how do you build back in it? Even if it's not for this game, the momentum moving into the next game. This is what you want. Lou Dort knocking down a three.
ESPN Bet Sport.
Time for tonight's access, brought to you by Nintendo Switch 2. Mark Dignault.
Offensively, just more force, more early passing, right? We just can't hold it and play in a crowd, and we got to move the floor, right? Let's challenge ourselves to be the more physical, more forceful, earlier passing team this have, right? And see what happens.
Well, so far, first 3 minutes, yes. Three-pointer though, McDaniels. His first three, and overall shooting 10 of 22 from three-point range. Looked like a pretty good set play out of the timeout. Gilgeous-Alexander. That shot altered by Gobert. Last touched by SGA.
And Edwards getting downhill. Sometimes you're not just attacking in that paint for yourself. It's to open up opportunities for your teammates. Great assist there by Ant Edwards.
But that deeper penetration draws Shea just enough.
Gobert struggling with the dribble. Now Conley, shot clock at 7. He's out at half court. Isaiah Joe, good pressure. Gobert sets the screen. Holmgren picks him up. Conley inside. Holmgren, good contesting. Quick outlet. Williams. And Edwards, great transition defense. Isaiah Joe, though. Dort will try another high arcing three. Off the mark. Edwards with 9 rebounds to go with 20 points, 4 assists. Randall lost the dribble. Edwards drives, goes inside, reverse! Sensational play from Anthony Edwards. Oh, razzle-dazzle. He's now 9 of 12. Isaiah Joe looks to answer, can't. Conley the rebound. Edwards again. Gobert right there to clean it up. And just like that, it's back up to 29. Jalen Williams guarded by Conley. And an offensive foul called.
Well, what a response. The 11-2 start erased. And Rudy Gobert, Johnny on the spot. And then how about this finish? Come on, he starts on one side of the backboard, the athleticism, the sustain.
And he worked hard for that. Multiple dribbles, takes off. That's just tough. And even Rudy's right there for the cleanup. But Ant Edwards just has a different, especially started in game 2. But tonight, just that attack has looked different.
Foul on Jalen Williams, his second. Conley gets it back. Edwards. Got a three! Anthony Edwards now with 25. They've scored 10 straight since that timeout. Isaiah Joe, the high dribble, lost it. Gets it back, surrounded, falls down, and is fouled.
A little bit more space. You see Hartenstein is not up at the line. Dort tries to go under the screen, but that little timing. Look at the elevation. He elevates so much on his jump shot, but it is pure.
All-NBA second team named, second consecutive year. Williams, Isaiah Joe, Conley runs at him. Ball batted around, Randall comes up with a rebound. Randall, 12 points, 4 boards, 3 assists in his bounce-back game. The spin move, the drive, the banker, and a foul. T-Wolves playing with a real swagger after getting beaten pretty solidly the first 2 games as we go to Lisa.
Hey, Mike, remember Julius Randle got benched for the entire 4th quarter of game 2. No player, especially a start player, enjoys that. I asked him this morning at shoot-around if things were good with him and head coach Chris Finch. He said, yeah, we talked about it this morning. I'm not going to say I loved it. I didn't, because you always want to be on the floor, especially in the fourth, trying to help your team win. But he said that's the level of trust that he and Chris Finch have built throughout this season. He said it's happened before, and that he understood what was going on in the game, how the flow of that game was going, why Chris Finch kept him on the bench. He said he didn't take it personally, and again, he said he trusts Chris Finch and his decisions 100%.
No, he didn't play. He did play 32 of the first 36 minutes before sitting out the whole fourth. He just didn't play well.
Mike, that's a pretty good enough sample size, in my opinion. And look, at some point in time, the coach is trying to win the game. It's not about you.
Williams, good drive to the bucket. And it's still a 32-point deficit as we reach the midway point here in the third. They came out strong the opening couple of minutes. McDaniels somehow held on, lost it a second time. Still Minnesota ball, 13 on the shot clock. McDaniels' defense a big part of this enormous lead here in game 3. One of the talented young defenders in the league. Didn't make an NBA all-defensive team this year, did last year. There's so many good defensive players right now in the NBA. It's hard to make an all-NBA defensive team. Shot clock at 5. Edwards to McDaniels, lines up a 3 and knocks it down. Back up to 35, equaling the largest lead of the game. They've hit half their three-pointers, 12 of 24. And SGA draws the foul on Randle. 3 fouls on Julius Randle.
This change of pace is so good. Julius going to try to cut him off on the baseline. That's a tough one. That didn't look like a ton there.
And here, when you see two people just make the right pass, that's why I wanted him to go into that post. I wanted Anthony Edwards to get into that post, because now when they double team, it's easier for you to kick out and make a play. McDaniels gets rewarded with that 3.
Aaron Wiggins comes in. Isaiah Joe will sit.
So Anthony Edwards talked earlier this year about the number of double teams and how he hates playing against double teams. That post, Rich, that could be a place where he can avoid some of that.
He is, and he's so young. He's still so young, so much to grow. But you look at the evolution of great scorers. Kawhi Leonard, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. They all learn how to dominate that elbow and that logo spot.
The crowd was chanting free throw merchant when SGA was at the free throw line as Randle steps back, hits another one. Now this is the largest lead of the game, a 36-point advantage. As suffocating defense from Minnesota. Edwards pulls back and an offensive foul. His second.
What a difference for Rudy Gobert. He's actually been an impactful defensive player. You see the surprise on Anthony's face. But he eats up space. They don't want to give up these mid-range shots because they're too good, OKC, in the mid-range.
And then Randle jumper over Hartenstein. I like it when he's at the top of the key versus a big. When it's Caruso, when it's Dort, I don't like him handling up there. It's just too much pressure.
Double clutch from SGA. A grab from McDaniels. 4.5 left, third quarter. Randle goes right at SGA, jump shot, it's good. Timeout OKC, the lead's ballooned to 38. This crowd loving it.
What a response. Not happy. But he's saying, I'm a competitor, and my job is to come back and be a pro. And he's guarded extremely hard, which is a change from the first couple, and he is scoring at will right now.
Yo! Mike, just throw it to TJ, yo. Thank you.
Attack the defense, flatten it out. If you don't like what you got, first. If you don't like what you got, first, then you pass the ball.
Edwards and McDaniels both have turned in excellent performances at both ends of the floor. And you see the third quarter again was all OKC. It looked like OKC was going to come out strong here to begin the third. But a quick response again from Minnesota. Wiggins pulls up. Jump shot misses. Fight for the rebound. Lou Dort. Stripped and stolen. 13 turnovers.
I really like what Anthony Edwards said to McDaniels. If you don't like what you have, think about yourself, see what you have, and then pass the ball. That's how you uplift your teammate. That's how you encourage him to be aggressive.
7 on the 24 as Alexander Walker is in double figures again. They're shooting 14 of 26 from 3. And doing all this, as you said, Doris, against the best, not only best defensive team in the NBA, one of the best we've seen in years. Mitchell, jumper. McDaniels drives, can't finish. Hartenstein with a rebound. Wiggins kicks it out. Lou Dort. He might have the highest arc on the 3 in the league.
There is elevation on it. The highest arc I've ever seen is Dirk, and it was even more annoying because he was 7 foot with that arc, so you could never get to it. But Lou Dort, it's just the touch he has and the elevation on that jump. That arc is very consistent.
Edwards, long three-pointer. It's good! Anthony Edwards from way downtown. It's a 41-point lead.
He and Dort hitting one another on the way back up the floor.
28 points, 10 rebounds. Hartenstein floater in and out. Gobert the rebound. Gobert's had a nice impact on this one as well. Naz Reid tries a 3. Hartenstein grabs it again. Kenrich Williams, Jalen Williams, Jay Will coming into the game.
How pretty is that jump shot? That's from deep.
Well, once he sees that defender back up, he just raises up.
And this was what was going on after the play. Look at Lou Dort with a little wry smile like, what are we doing here? I love that, Richard.
Love it. I love it. We saw it in the Lakers series, him and Bron do it. We've seen him do it against Kevin Durant. He will do it against SGA, Lou Dort. It don't matter. Anybody can get that smoke.
Wallace hits the free throw. Time for tonight's playoff schedule, brought to you by Intuit QuickBooks. TNT Sunday, Knicks and Pacers from Indianapolis, Game 3. Pacers up 2-0, 8 Eastern Time. ESPN Monday, Game 4. Tip-off shortly after 8:30. Certainly looking like Minnesota is going to only be down 2-1 as Wallace hits the second free throw.
Let's go Wolves.
Well, Lisa talked about asking Mark Daigneault, when do you wave the white flag? It might be happening. Edwards off the mark, rebound. Alexander Walker. DiVincenzo fires a 3. It's good. It's a Minnesota tsunami here in Game 3. Spin move, Wiggins. Just incredible shooting. And again, you can't stop emphasizing enough who it's coming against. 16 of 30 from 3. Edwards, jumper, got it. 30 points for the Ant-Man.
Again, Nickeil Alexander-Walker with the left-hander. What a nice pass. DiVincenzo, he's got 0 on his back, but 3 in the bucket.
The story continues as the Fantastic Four arrive at the Baxter Building. Will they make it in time for tip-off?
Statistically speaking, the team that wins Game 3...
Why are you taking the elevator? I could just fly there.
How pressing it more times does it make it go faster?
Nope, but flying would, so...
Statistically speaking...
We don't make tip-off, there is a 100% chance that Johnny is going to be too fired up.
I didn't know you were into stats.
See? Worked.
Okay, just helping Herb in the kitchen.
You
gotta have delicious snacks for the game.
Don't do that. You're gonna ruin your appetite.
1:21 remaining here in the third. Talk about a total team effort led by Anthony Edwards with the 30 points, but so many others, especially on the defensive end. Dylan Jones has come on for Oklahoma City. Jalen Williams, Kenrich Williams, A.J. Mitchell. As Jones knocks it down. Just over a minute remaining here in this third period. Dylan Jones, the rookie from Weber State. Rudy Gobert with a right hand and a terrific pass from DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo deflects it. Ball still loose, picked up by Williams, stolen by Conley. Throws it away. Jones lost it, gets it back. And Wiggins, Kenrich Williams lays it up and in. Alexander Walker. Nice steal by Mitchell. Beautiful pass inside. The bench going to get a lot of playing time here.
They're going to get a lot of playing time, but Minnesota, they've got to clean it up. You've done so much work. This is not a team that you want to give confidence to. I don't care what it is. I don't care how much time's left. Do not give them any room to breathe.
Final seconds here in the third. And it goes out of bounds with 1.6 remaining. 107-70. The heave, and that will end the third. All Minnesota here in Game 3. They're right back in this series. This presentation of the NBA playoffs continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Now, other than that, though,
to help each other and get out and recover. I think it starts with our defense.
how satisfying has this been for you personally, given the way things went down in Game 2?
It's great. It's great, but we got to close out this game. Stay focused. It's only one game. We got to stay focused and keep building on good habits.
Thank you, Julius. Mike.
A 19-point game for Julius Randle. Most likely play a couple of minutes here early in the fourth, and that will be it. Shannon, boy, what a spark the rookie provided. 9 points in 7 minutes in that first half. He draws the foul. Chris Finch just trying something a little different, and boy, it was part of that first half spark.
Well, there were so many people that needed to contribute, and sometimes you bring in somebody a little early so that if one of your main guys isn't contributing, isn't shooting the ball well, maybe you can find a spark someplace else, and Shannon Jr. did it for him.
Naz Reid drives, ball knocked out of bounds, go down the other way. Chris Finch in his fifth year as head coach. They've made the playoffs the last 4 years, where he's coached in a lot of places. An assistant in Toronto, New Orleans, Denver, Houston. Head coach of the Great Britain national team. Head coach in the G League where he won a title. As Mitchell kicks it back out. Jalen Williams tries, can't get it to fall. Ball knocked out of bounds. Finch's first head coaching job was the Sheffield Sharks in the British Basketball League. He won the title and got Coach of the Year. He also coached in Germany and Belgium. He has been everywhere. This has been his life. A very good Division II player from Franklin and Marshall. This is what you call filler information on a broadcast. As DiVincenzo, you don't usually do it with 10:45 remaining. Here in the fourth, Randle off one leg, banks it in.
Mike, feel free to take control of the ball.
Well, normally you've seen OKC already pulled their starters. How much longer is Minnesota going to keep it in?
Wiggins can't get it to go. Read the rebound. We said this in the first step. Randall trying and knocks down the three. Outside by the logo. Randall with 24. The hits just keep on coming here in game 3. Nice little floater from Mitchell. By the way, keep your eye on A.J. Mitchell. He's going to be a really good player. He's another one of those finds by Sam Presti. And again, just a rookie. A second-round pick. We've got so many second-round and non-drafted guys who contribute. And tonight it's been all Minnesota. Randall falling away. Mitchell. There, rattles that one in. All right, so what's it like, Richard, for you're on the road in a playoff series and you just get hammered like this? Now you got to spend a couple of days in the city.
Well, and it's actually good for you. It's team bonding. You're together. When you get blown out at home and those things, you go back to your family as you see Shannon Jr. knock down another three. When you're at home, you separate with your family. You go home, your parents, your kids, everybody's around. But when you're on the road and you have this game, you are all together. You are talking, you are watching film. As you see, a standing ovation for Julius Randle and a well-deserved one. But to your point, Mike, it's easier on the road because you are able to come together, talk about it more. You spend more time together, dinners, lunches. So if there is a moment for these, it is on the road.
And Doris, this is OKC, one of the most connected teams we've seen in a while. You know, they'll put it to good use next couple of days.
Yeah, and they've been in this circumstance, albeit we talked about in Memphis, they did come back. But listen, I think they've been a team that's gained resolve through the prior playoff series in Denver, right? You know, you faced some adversity there. That collectively changed the group. That game 7, significant in their history.
Mitchell spinning, gets inside, takes a bump, shot. It's good, and a foul. And again, Mitchell showing his talents.
Last three just so deep, laughing. Everything's dropping. But I think people at home don't understand. You can have the worst game of your life, and you have to show back up the next day and answer the call. But that's part of the fun. The doubters come out. Everybody starts criticizing you. How do you answer the call? These calls are the most fun.
Fight for the rebound. And picked up by Isaiah Joe. Kendrick Williams the drive, blocked by Reed. Alexander Walker looks to push. Shannon inside, shot's good, and a foul. Shannon's got 14 points in 10 minutes.
Well, you said it, Mike. They call him a wrecking ball because he is unafraid to use that body as a weapon. Initiate contact.
He looks like he wants some smoke, DB. He looks like he wants some fire.
6 points in the playoffs until tonight. But he can score. He showed it in college. He has more points than any player on OKC in this game. Just incredible. This is going to be, and I will take a timeout. We'll see if we can request running time the rest of this one. 7:41 remaining. What a performance from Minnesota.
I think OKC might request that too.
The NBA Western Conference Finals are presented by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. In part by Burger King. At BK, have it your way. You rule. and Google, proud sponsor of the NBA.
Game 3 of that NHL Western Conference Final tomorrow afternoon right here on ABC at ESPN+. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern. Best of 7, Stars and Oilers tied at a game apiece as the series shifts to Edmonton. Shannon kicks it out. And both teams emptying the benches here with still 7.5 remaining. Dillingham, Minot, Miller, Clark, and Shannon out there. Ball batted away from Isaiah Joe, and here comes Shannon. And a foul on Jalen Williams. Well, the man there, scratching his ear, is Tim Connolly. It's his 3rd year as president of basketball operations. You'd never know his team is up by this many. It's one of the bright minds in the NBA. Spent 9 years in Denver, the president of basketball operations there. He was there, the front office, when they drafted Nikola Jokic. He's been in the NBA for 30 years, and he has made 2 bold trades. First, obtaining Rudy Gobert, and then sending Karl Anthony Towns to New York. And here he is, 2nd straight year, as Minot shot won't go in the Western Conference Finals. One of the most likable guys in the NBA. That's Steve Sr., his assistant in front of him on the far left there. And, you know, I'm sure there was a little anxious moments for them before the game, but boy, do they feel good. Although you can't tell it by the way they're sitting there.
Well, coaches, GMs, presidents, they never look happy. Up by 30, down by 30, they are always focused and locked in. Because right now, they're evaluating everybody on this court currently right now.
These young players getting a chance to play in the Western Conference Finals. Minot pass inside, deflected. Here comes Jones. Jones going coast to coast, can't get to the fall. Williams tips it. Dillingham picks it up. Dillingham, an impressive rookie as well. Long rebound.
DB, you remember how we mentioned getting blown out in that 1 and 2 in 2016? There was garbage minutes. And the only reason why T. Lue decided to put me in the starting lineup in game 3 or 4 is because I came out and played those 5-6 minutes of garbage minutes like my life depended on it. So Kevin Love gets a concussion, and they're like, well, who are we going to start? It's like, well, Richard has played well. And I say all that to say, for all of these young players out here, play these last 6 minutes, have an impact. It might bump you up into the rotation. It might give you an opportunity. You never know.
We always say there's no wasted minutes on an NBA court.
Mitchell drives, can't get it. Shannon the rebound. Leonard Miller again drives inside. Layup is good. Leonard Miller, the 2nd round pick in his 2nd year in the NBA. From Toronto, another Canadian. Williams and back. Their road record in the playoffs will now be 3-3. They lost 2 games in Denver. Obviously had the sweep in the opening round. Clark, good strong move, scores the bucket. And a whistle and a timeout. Luke Garza is going to come in. Mark Daigneault's going to call one final, well, maybe not one final timeout. With 5:06 remaining here in the 4th. Tonight's good hands play brought to you by Allstate Doris.
What a collective effort defensively against the league's MVP, who had come in averaging 14.5 free throws in the series. You have to be ever present as a help defender. Rudy higher up off of those screens for Shea. You disrupt his rhythm, he makes some uncharacteristic turnovers. The chase from behind, and again, the step up by Rudy Gobert, who looks a little bit closer to the defensive player of the year historically. And this is the numbers tonight, Richard.
It's been impressive to watch, and I think that was what was so confusing in the first games, the games against Minnesota, where it's like you thought that their defense was impactful. You saw him guard LeBron. You saw him guard Steph for portions, Jimmy Butler. They've handled high-level players, but not the total team that OKC is.
Well, tonight will end that streak. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander had scored 30 or more in 5 consecutive playoff games. And that tied a franchise record. And it tied a record. You have to go all the way back to when the team was in Seattle. The great Gus Williams, who passed away just recently back in January, he did it for the Sonics, of course, their title team in 1979. Dillingham misfires. The other streak that, not necessarily a streak, but the Thunder came into this game, maybe a chance to set the all-time record for largest margin of victory in the playoffs, as Mitchell, another nice move in there. The all-time record for margin of victory in the playoffs is 14.5. The 1971 Milwaukee Bucks did that. Out, of course, was Lou Alcindor, then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Oscar Robertson, Bobby Dandridge. But that margin of victory is going to take a hit with the score here tonight.
Well, it's just, you see, when you look at the numbers, their road numbers have a significant drop. Now, we know that role players play better at home, but you saw the boost from Minnesota and you saw the decline from OKC. Will that continue? Minnesota answered the call. There's a lot of questions, a lot of chirping. They answered the call here. Now, they got to do it again to tie the series, but can OKC answer the call after this performance?
Nice pass inside. Garza bangs it home. Oh, the crowd loves that. Luka Garza, the fourth-year player out of Iowa. Now his third year in Minnesota, doesn't get a lot of time. The amazing thing here, hardly anybody's left. This is a 40-point game in the third quarter. But you can see just from watching, I know it's blowout material, but Mitchell, he's a really good player.
Every time I've had them and he's gotten minutes, he is in attack mode. He's smart. He grinds on the defensive end.
Miller called for a travel. Let's listen to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander mic'd up.
Turnovers early. They were more physical early, and they made shots and we missed shots. But the other two are first. And then on top of this, they had a great night, we had a bad night. So it's like 40. But if we take care of these, we can still lose because of this night. But it doesn't look like this, you know?
Already thinking forward.
When we had that opportunity to interview him a couple of days ago in OKC, I said, I've been around a lot of superstars. He is one of the most impressive human beings that I've ever been around. And even to hear him break it down, the turnovers, the physicality, he's like, these two are first. We're not going to talk about we missed shots. We're not going to talk about, those two are the first things that we need to address. So even hearing that, put that into his teammates' ears of, the first two things we can control. The other two we can't. We got to control what's controllable.
Garza knocks down the three-pointer. In playoff. The bench having Mitchell again goes inside.
I think maybe the most important thing Minnesota recognized, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker talked about this, he said because they play so very, very hard on both ends for as long as they do, our talent can't get us where we need to be in this series.
Chang
And this,
banks in, excuse me, Doris.
This is the first night where they were the aggressors physically, right? And they were the ones getting deflections, getting into ball handlers, rotating quickly.
How about Miller knocking it down? Tell you what, these reserves are shooting the heck out of the ball. Minnesota is 20 of 40 from three-point range. The chancer for Joe for Joe Ingles. Of course, is such a popular player here, and no matter where he's played, has not played yet in the playoffs. Clark. I don't think he wants to go in. Just so he wants to coach after he's finishing up. Joe Ingles, 37 years old, the Australian. Had some terrific years in the NBA, a tough, durable player.
Look, I was just going to say, as a former 37-year-old, you don't want to sit on ice for 2.5 hours and go out there with those young boys moving that fast. That sounds like a nightmare.
You just call yourself a former 37-year-old?
I was a former 37-year-old player. That's the difference.
So approach on a minute remaining. Boy, it's so impressive what they did, especially not that they were deflated, but how they were dominated at times. They had some okay stretches in games 1 and 2, but when it came down to it, Oklahoma City just looked like they were so much better. And for them to come out, I've had some players, as Garza having the time of his life out there. Richard, I've had some players say that they'd rather lose a blowout by 30 than lose at the buzzer by 1.
Depends on the team, depends on the player. If you want that opportunity, then you take that opportunity. You want a close game, you can learn a lot about yourself in close games. You can clean up certain things. But when things get out of reach like this and you're sitting on the sideline, you take it, you take the L, and you just keep pushing.
Game 4 is going to be Monday night. We'll have it on ESPN. Now, what a difference a game makes. And now those who have stayed, a standing ovation. This was some display of great team basketball. Swarming defense, unselfish, aggressive offense, and just a perfect response to get them right back in the series. The Timberwolves with a convincing dominant win, and this series is now 2-1. Doris, we talk about response all the time. This is one of the best responses we've seen in these playoffs.
From the opening tip, the team that set the level on the defensive end for the first time in the series and as consistently as we've ever seen them were the Minnesota Timberwolves.
No, they were impressive, and we talked about it before we even got on air. We will know everything we know about the rest of this series after the first quarter. How they come out, how aggressive they are, what type of lead they have. And they showed all of America tonight that they are trying to stay in this series.
Again, Minnesota beat the Lakers in 5 games first round, beat the Warriors in 5 games in the second round. And now down 2-1 here in the conference final.
Anthony, just what was different, completely different tonight?
TJ came in and brought ultimate energy, man, and we can't ask for nothing more. He came in and made all the right plays, attacked the basket with aggression, and he came up big for us tonight.
What were you most proud of about the way your team responded tonight?
I was super happy. I wouldn't say proud. I was super happy about the physicality that we brought and the energy that we brought. Because being down 2-0, man, it's all about bringing energy, and we brought high energy.
You talked about unexpected production from guys like the rookie Terrence Shannon Jr., TJ's what you call him. Julius Randle got benched in Game 2. He said he had moved on and was going to come out and play aggressive tonight. Just what did you like about the way he responded?
He's a vet, man. A vet knows what to do. He knows how to respond. He knows not to take nothing too personal. And that's what he did, man. He came in with the right energy and shoot around this morning. And I can see it in his eyes, man. He wanted his respect back, and he got it.
How do you do it all again in 2 days on Monday night?
You got to erase this one. This one is over. I know everyone is happy about this one, but we know this team, OKC, going to come out and bring hella energy and be ready to go, and they're going to try to win Game 4, and we got to come out and exceed their energy and try to, get a win and go back to Game 5. So we'll be ready.
Congrats on the win to both of you.
Well, Lisa, great point by Edwards. It's only one victory, and it gets them within 2-1. And also, it seems every time he does a post-game interview, he talks about his teammates.
Love it, Mike. He's trying to build the guys up around him. I love that.
Well, they'll get a chance to tie this up on Monday night. And again, we'll have it for you on ESPN. Coverage gets underway. NBA Countdown, 7:30 Eastern. Tip-off shortly after 8:30. But they are right back in the series. They'll be back at the Target Center Monday night. See if they can even things up. And how will OKC respond after one of their worst losses of the season? So the final score, 143 to 101. Our producer, This is Tim Corrigan, Director Mike Schwab, our outstanding ABC crew, as always. Of course, for Doris, Richard, and Lisa, Mike Green saying, join us Monday night for Game 4. Coming up next on most of these ABC stations, your late local news. We say goodnight from Minneapolis. Thanks for watching here on ABC, home of the NBA Finals.
Я любил, и я изведал безумных миль любовных мук и поражения, и победы, и имя враг, и слово друг. Их было много, что я знаю, воспоминания тени сна. Я только странно повторяю их золотые имена. Их было много, но одною чертой соединил их я, одной безумной красотою. Есть напела их сокровенных, роковая гибель весть, и проклятие заветов священных, поругание счастья есть. И такая влекущая сила, что готов я гордить головой, будто ангелов ты не золотила, соблазняя своей красотой. И когда ты смеешься над верой, над тобой загорается вдруг тот неяркий пурпурово-серый и когда-то мной виденный круг. Зла, добра, и ты вся не отсюда, внутренно про тебя говорят. Для иных ты и муза, и чудо, для меня ты мучение и ад. Я не знаю, зачем на рассвете.
It's so cold. Now I'm wondering how I'm gonna get you back. Hey, nothing about to make it right. Jamila kiyabe mun. Na dawo gida ban ga Jamila ba. Na dawo gida ban ji muryanta ba. Hey, wayo, a neman mun Jamila. Jamila, don Allah gida babu abin da zai raba mu har abada. Jamila, zuciya na ɓaciwa. Gida, 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 gida. Ooh, no matter what people do or say, this love will never die. If I knew I never hurt you so bad, drinking so much, too much women in my life, kwashe mata. Jamila, I'm so sorry, I mean a girl. Inna dawo gida na ga Jamila na, inna dawo gida in ji muryan Jamila, in ci abincin Jamila, wayo.